Alright, y'all, we did it. We are officially through, well, in like 3 days, we'll be officially through another season. This is the Voices of the PLC Season 10, Week 12 episode. We've got a couple contributors this year, and I'm excited to hear what they have to say. I hope you guys enjoy the episode, and I will see you guys in chat. Peace.
I would say that this season's over and everything's dead, but it's not. There is still 1 week left. Playoff hopes are dead, so week 12 will be our last, but we do have one final match. Now, as much as I would love to reflect and talk about how I think this season's been going, that's not for this episode. That's for a later episode, in a post-season episode, which will be coming, I think, next week. But for now, we talk about week 12. First off, I need to talk a little bit about week 11. To be perfectly honest, royal shit show. That's how I feel about it. I totally screwed up and absolutely brain farted on that Gyarados would be Terra Ground. It should have been extremely obvious, and if I had been smarter, I would have feel like my lead was okay, but the idea that I double targeted Gyarados with both electric types, that was definitely the bad one that made me lose absolutely turn 1, and I don't want to hear anything else. It was a turn 1 loss, and I didn't stand a chance. Now, like I said, if I had clicked Ice Punch with Pomod instead, that might have been absolutely a game changer, and I'm not saying that would have meant that I would have won that match, because it definitely would not, but it might actually have, like I said, have been a game changer, and then this week would matter, but it does not. I'm not gonna say what team I'm bringing, but I will say that my team is RNG'd and it is already prepared. I'm not gonna do any prep because literally this match does not matter. If I beat Ian, I will stop his playoff hopes, but hey, for me personally, this match don't matter. But yeah, we are going up against Ian, Mr. Mushroom himself, the CEO of the PLC, and man, honestly, it would be great to beat him. I'm pretty sure, except for a few seasons here and there, or maybe 1 or 2 seasons where we didn't battle, but otherwise we've been battling since freaking I joined PLC. He was my very first opponent when I joined back in season 6, and that match was actually, despite freaking max mechanics being a shit mechanic, worst thing of all time, I did better than I thought I would, and I lost that one only 2-0. My first season may have been a totally winless one, but some of the matches I came out better than I thought I would. But hey, a loss is still a loss. But we're talking about season 10, and we're talking about the final week in Ian's team. Oh my god, it's definitely scary, but hopefully my random generated team can actually pull something out, and if I beat him, hey, then he's not making playoffs and he's joining me in hell. Okay, but that's about enough rambling for me, and next Voices of the PLC, I will say this much, I will go over a review of my overall seasons, what's been my favorite, my overall season, not with an S. I will go over my overall season, what's been the best, what's been the worst, and what I wish I'd done better. And overall then, I guess I'll see you in off season and so much else. But This has been Selina, coaches the Area Zero All Stars, signing off.
What's going on, PLC? This is Eray Blitz. I just wanted to make a quick little voice entry here. Thanking everyone for your participation in the PLC Season 10. This is a great milestone for us. We've created something beautiful here. I really appreciate everyone's participation, um, everyone's flexibility, able to schedule your matches every week. And able to enjoy this thing we love called Pokemon. I really appreciate you guys. This is exactly what we wanted to build here when we actually started. So, shouts to y'all. Shouts to Bosch. We played earlier. We had this early match scheduled this week, convenient for both of us. And I enjoyed that exchange, communication, conversation. Wonderful match. A great person. Glad you're here. Hope you stick around for a while. Let's play some Pokemon. Anywho, guys, just to finish up, go ahead and make sure you patch up those needs you need before playoffs. Again, I can't stress this enough. Your team's gonna lock, and you can't make any adjustments. You can't pick up a Pokemon for your next opponent. Um, so make sure anything that you may need to patch up something that stops something that really shits on your team, go ahead and get that now. We got one major shift coming this weekend. A lot of stuff is going to hit the wire. You get one pick of all of that cool stuff that's going to hit. So make the best of it. And try to make some trades too. You never know. Some stuff you probably was like looking at your team like this doesn't work out the way it did. Go ahead and move that shit out the way. Let's get something good in there that actually going to work for you. Um, and let's go, man. Playoffs is here. It's where the real game start. None of the other stuff matters now. If you made it, if you didn't, thank you for your participation. And let's work on getting better so you can make it next year. But anywho, just wanted to say something quick. I don't know, it's not game time now, fellas. Anyway, you ready to blitz out?
What's going on, PLC family? This is Ty here. I'm just chilling out, trying to figure out how I'm gonna play my match for the next week. But all season long, I would say this has been a very successful season for me, and for a lot of people I've seen who played and I've played against, and I can't say I haven't enjoyed this any more than I already have from a long time standpoint. And I always enjoy every season I play. Some seasons be bad or worse than others, and sometimes I just have my down moments. But for certain, this has been one of the greatest seasons I've played, as well as season 7 my second season when I played, of course. Um, Overall, looking back at this season, I said I've had my ups and downs, and I've had my highs and my lows. But most of all, this has been a really good season. I enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm going to keep enjoying it until I do what I came set out to do. I want to win, of course, and I know for a fact that I'm destined for greatness when it comes to this, as well as when it comes to playing with you all these fellow players and whatnot, because it's really good. I enjoy it. I hope that everyone else enjoys it. And just some advice for everybody: don't take every match seriously. Like you can have fun with the games. You don't have to be Debbie Downers, of course. Whenever you lose, granted, you're gonna have that moment when you lose, of course, but you pick yourself back up and you just kind of keep moving on from there, and you do what you got to do to make it better the next week. Plan your matches accordingly, of course. Do what's best for you. Don't do what's best for what you're going up against. Granted, you're going to do that regardless, but do what fits your play style, of course, to help you do better, of course. No, this is week 11 going into week 12 saying this, but this should have been a thing that you've been doing since you've been playing the game, because in order for you to get better, you have to lose and you have to win to understand your flaws and your achievements. I believe in that. I've had great success this season, and I want to continue having great success into the postseason, of course, as well as great success in any other endeavors I choose to be. And you can always apply this to your everyday life as well. So just know that your boy Ty is always here for you if you need him, and if you want to actually have fun, just call me and hit me up. I'll gladly scrim with you if you need to bounce ideas and stuff like that, figure some stuff out. Like I said, don't ever take for granted the help that you always have and always will give, because that stuff is going to be really fun for you to have in the long future, and as well as to help you do better and be better. Overall, I would say one of my most fun matches I've had this season was against, I believe, who was it? Who did I have a good match against? I had a good match against Speaking, because it showed me the highlights and the flaws of my teams that I actually knew I had in my thinking strategy. So I would say that that's one of the best things I've actually done all season. And I've had great scrims against a lot of good players. I've had great matches against a lot of great players. That's like I said, I always face the high end, the upper echelon of the group when it comes to playing against people all the time, and trying to win against those odds is a little bit harder for me. But when I do win, I take pride in those wins, of course. And when I do lose, I still take pride in my losses. I don't like them, but they help me grow and I get better, of course. I see where I went wrong sometimes, where I do when I aim down the wrong things, and I just adjust and make better for the next weeks, of course, to come. So going forward, just know, guys, that the season, even if you come away winless or come with a 1-win or 2-win season, it's not the end of everything. You know you're gonna bounce back better than that. So overall, going forward, just know you got this. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for myself. I'm rooting for everybody. But at the end of the day, there's only one winner, of course, and you gotta hopefully hope it's you in the long run. But at the end of the day, it's been a really good season, and it continues to be a good season. And I enjoy how close our matches have been all season long. Granted, we've had some sweeps here and there, but most of the matches have been pretty close, pretty tight games. Nothing seems to be out of place, out of mind, out of sight. So, yeah, I will gladly enjoy this when we come full circle on this, and see where we go in the future. But thanks, fellas. Thanks, ladies. Thanks, gentlemen. Hopefully have a good week 12. We'll figure out where we're going playoffs, and we solidify our teams for the final stretch for whatever this is going to be. And we hope to really have a good, awesome time and get a new champion hopefully soon. So that's me signing out. Peace out, PLC. I'll see y'all again in the coming weeks in the playoff season.
All right, YouTube. It is week 12. It's the best week of the season. So that's just how I feel about it. Every match is very important, and there's so many possibilities that it's going to be interesting to see how it all shapes up. So typically for my Voices segments, I break down the standings, and then I jump into the week's matches, and that's been fun for me. It's been what's working. It's been a good time. But this week, I'm not going to talk about the standings. I'm kind of going to talk about the standings as I go through the matches. And we've all seen the standings. If you're interested, you can go look at the standings right now on the sheet. You can go into Discord. You can go in the standings channel, and you can look at the standings historically, where they've been, all that good stuff. So we know the standings. I'm not going to break those down this week. Instead, I'm going to take a look at each of the matches and talk about the possibilities of each of them. And again, we'll kind of talk about the standings as we go through them. So I'm just going to go straight from the top and break them down. So the first match this week is Corey and myself. So Corey is locked into a 5-12 seed. With a win, he cannot break the top 4. With a loss, he cannot fall out of the top 12. So he is in the 5-12. Me, I'm actually playing for the number 1 seed. With a win, I am the number 1 seed. Point blank, period. It's just fact. If I lose, I'm still in the top 4, but I can fall as low as the number 3. Dan and Eray can both jump me. So I don't want to lose. Naturally, I'm trying to win. But a win puts me at number 1. A loss still finds me in the top 4. So that's cool. That's actually reassuring. So that's what I'm playing for. And then Mike and Jalen. So of all the matches this week, this is probably the least consequential. So Mike, much the same as Corey, finds himself locked into a 5-12 seed. A win does not break him into the top 4, and a loss does not drop him out of the top 12. So he is 5-12. He's in the playoffs, playing next week, regardless. Jalen, on the other hand, is out of the playoffs. He's kind of playing spoiler this week, but again, even with a loss, Mike finds himself in the playoffs, so it's not necessarily the biggest spoiler. So kind of an inconsequential match. But it'll be fun to still watch regardless. So the next one is the first kind of opportunity where a loss could mean something big. So Selina and Ian. Selina has kind of been going through it. I think that's fair to say. She's tilting a little bit. I think that's also fair to say. And then Ian, on the other hand, so Selina is playing spoiler this week. No opportunity for playoffs, but can potentially spoil Ian's playoff hopes. Jeez. And then Ian, again, on the other side, is in a situation where he wins and he is in. It's that simple. Win, you are in the playoffs. A loss by a large margin, along with a win by Jay Wade or Brian, which one of those players is going to win because they play each other. So talk about that in just a few. In combination with a win by a large margin by Speakman or Phil, could potentially find Ian on the outside of playoffs. So I'll say it again. If Ian loses by a large margin and then Jay Wade or Brian, one of them win, and Speakman or Phil, one of them win by a large margin, he could potentially get jumped in the standings. So it's probably not likely to happen. We've seen 5-0s, we've seen 6-0s. They're not super common though. So for Ian to lose by 5 or 6, and then for Speakman or Phil to win by 5 or 6, all in the same week, the stars would kind of have to align for that to happen. That's why I say it's unlikely. So it's possible. That's why I'm speaking to it, but it definitely isn't the most likely possibility. All right, the next match, SB and Jay. So this is actually funny. SB said that he's trying to keep Jay from the top 4. Jay responded with a pretty funny reaction gif. That was pretty solid. But SB is playing spoiler. No opportunity for playoffs for SB this week or this season. And Jay, on the other hand, is in the top 4 consideration. That's a bad way to say that. He's fighting for the top 4. So Jay finds himself in a very interesting situation. And basically he's tied with Brendan. So he has the same record as Brendan. So Brendan is currently the number 4 seed just because his name starts with a B. It's B before J in the alphabet, but they have the same record. They have the same win-loss. They have the same plus-minus. They're just tied. And then they also... Okay, hold on. We'll talk about that in a second. They have the same plus-minus. That's what I was going to say. We'll talk about that in a second, though, because that's actually really interesting. But basically, from a standings perspective, Jay and Brendan, whoever wins by a larger margin or loses by a smaller margin will likely find themselves in the top 4. So if Jay wins by 5, Brendan wins by 4, Jay is in the top 4, or vice versa. Brendan wins by 5, Jay wins by 4, Brendan's in the top 4. Or if they lose, whoever loses by the smaller margin will likely find themselves in the top 4 as well, if they both lose. If one of them wins, one of them loses, that's cut and dry. But there's also a chance that Zach can jump them too, so that's something to keep an eye on. But that's, assuming they both lose and then Zach wins, and Zach's plus-minus would likely take over at that point, and he would jump into the top 4. But again, it's just an interesting week, to say the least. So the only other thing I want to mention here is actually something that's kind of historic. It'd be interesting to say or to see it happen. But we could find ourselves in a situation where we are looking at super sudden death. So you say, what is that? What's super sudden death? So let's click over to the rules real fast. It's not a tab that we have to visit too often, but in the event of a complete tie, so Jay and Brendan currently have the same record, have the same plus-minus. If at the end of this week they have the same record and the same plus-minus, and they didn't get... Actually, you know what? If they do, even if they do get jumped by Zach, we're still in a complete tie scenario. Because Jay and Brendan, same win-loss, same plus-minus, they did not play each other this season. So there's no historic record of them battling this season, which would be the tiebreaker. So whoever won that match, had they played, would break the tie, and that person would be above the other person in the standings. But they did not play each other this season, so we would be in a scenario where they go to super sudden death. Now, what is super sudden death? So in the rules, it says super sudden death is you bring a team of 6 to team preview. To battle, you bring a team of 4. Whoever wins that battle, So it's VGC-esque, but it's not best of 3. Whoever wins that battle of 4v4 breaks the tie, and that person would then take over in the standings. So it could be like a battle for the top 4, a super sudden death battle for the top 4, which would be really crazy. Or it could be, a super sudden death battle for the 5th seed or the 6th seed or whatever the case may be. But that's something to keep an eye on, because right now they are tied. There is no history between them this year. And yeah, that's definitely something that's possible. It's like actually very possible. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be something to keep an eye on for sure. All right, so Phil and Zach, and again, Jay competing for the top 4, just trying to win, trying to get that week off next week. All right, Phil and Zach. So, Phil, I mentioned it kind of with Ian's match. He needs a 5-0 or a 6-0, and an Ian loss by 5 or 6 in order to jump into the playoffs. He also needs a Speakman loss or a much bigger win than Speakman. So, Speakman is currently right above him in the standings with a -10. Phil has the -11. So he just needs to win by basically 2 more than Speakman wins by in order to jump him, but then also that Ian lost by 5 or 6. So kind of stars aligning type situation there. And then Zach on the other hand, so Zach can break into the top 4. So I mentioned this just a second ago with Jay's match, but he can break into the top 4. So check this out. Zach can break into the top 4 with, here we go, a Brendan, Jay, Ty, and Bosch loss, and a big win in combination with a big Bosch loss. Okay? That was extreme. So let's say it again. Zach can break into the top 4 with a Brendan, Jay, Ty, and Bosch loss. So he's banking on 4 players losing, and a big win / a big Bosch L. And I think Bosch and Eray have actually played. I don't know the outcome of that, but that could be a moot point at this point because Bosch could have won. So, yeah, but Zach can technically break top 4 with those things happening. Other than that, he will find himself in the 5 through 12. So, all right, flipping over real quick. Moving on, Speakman and Justin. So Speakman, possible number 12 seed. Just mentioned this a second ago with a big win and a big Ian loss. So we kind of mentioned that with Phil and Ian's scenarios. So it's definitely possible, but stars align territory. And is it likely? Maybe not, but definitely possible. And then Justin playing pure spoiler. So Justin is outside of the playoffs at this point. His plus minus is just a little too far behind at -14. So he's playing spoiler versus Speakman. All right, Jay, Wade, and Brian. So this is an interesting one because whoever wins this match is in the playoffs. Point blank period, you're there. The loser, so whoever loses this, depends on what Ian does, but they may potentially be out of the playoffs. But on the flip side, if they lose in a small manner, so they lose by 1, and Ian loses by 5 or 6, they could potentially still find themselves in the playoffs. So like Jay Wade, for instance, let's say he loses by 1, he's at -15. But then Ian loses, actually, you know what? Hold on, Brian, that's Brian's scenario, I'm sorry. So Jay Wade, you basically just want to win. If you win, you're in. If you lose, you're kind of out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if you lose, you're done. Because even if Ian loses by 6, his plus minus is still a lot better, so he gets that 12 spot. So yeah, Jay Wade, you want to win, and you're in. If you lose, you are, you're actually confirmed to be out. So yeah, don't lose, or lose, whatever. Yeah, just whoever wins, you're in. Good stuff. But Brian, you may also lose, and you remain in the playoffs with a small loss and a big Ian L. So Brian, because your plus minus is at -1, if you lose by 1, now you're at -2. Ian loses by 3. Even with the loss, your plus minus at that point would be ahead of his, and you'd still be in the playoffs. So that's possible for you, not for Jay Wade. So that's, again, win and in. Don't even have to think about it. You're good. But then, Brian, if you do lose, you have that possibility. All right, Bosch and Eray, this has actually already happened. I'm not sure what happened in the match, but Bosch, possible top 4 with a Brendan and Jay loss and a win. So, Bosch, you would have to win in order for that to happen. Brendan and Jay would have to lose. And your plus minus is great, so you would take that 4th spot. And then Eray, so top 4 lock with a win. So if you won that match, you're in the top 4. That's happening. And then possible top seed, so the number 1 seed, with a Jordan and Dan loss. Now, if I lose, I'd have to lose by 3. That would put me at 28. And then you would have to win by 3 in order to, pass me in plus minus. So even if I lose, there's still a possibility that I end up above you. But if I lose big, and if Dan loses, period, you can potentially break into that number 1 seed and go into the playoffs as the number 1 seed. So top 4 lock with a win, and then possible top seed with a Jordan and Dan loss. Sakuna and Brendan. So Sakuna is fighting for her first win of the season. So I think that's something to mention. And also, huge spoiler. So Brendan, there's top 4 consideration for Brendan. He's much the same situation as Jay. Actually, the identical situation as Jay. If you win more than Jay, or if you lose by less than Jay, and everything kind of, happens how I mentioned a minute ago, or a couple minutes ago at this point, then you could potentially find yourself in the top 4. But a loss not only kind of knocks you down a peg, potentially out of top 4, but also that's a huge spoiler. And Jay, that would be huge. That'd be big. And that's the biggest opportunity for a spoiler this week in borderline PLC history, I want to say. There's probably been some pretty big spoiler matches. I'm not sure if nothing kind of stands out in my mind, but this would be huge to keep Brendan out of top 4 and also get your first win for the season. So something to keep an eye on for sure. And then the last match is Dan and Ty. So Dan, you have the possible number 1 seed with a win and a Jordan loss. That puts you at 10-2. That will put me at 9-3. You jump me at that point, and you are the number 1 seed. But you are also locked into top 4. So there's nothing that can happen that will... I'm looking at plus minus real quick. No, you're good. So even if you lose by 6, that puts you at 16. If Brendan and Jay win by 6, that puts them at 15. So you are a lock for the top 4 with a win, loss, draw. You're good, Dan. Ty... All right, so check this out. Ty has a possibility of breaking the top 4 with a win, and Brendan, Jay, Bosch losses. And I think Zach would have to lose too. Am I looking at that? Oh, no, Ty's plus minus is better than Zach's. So, yeah, if you win, Ty, you pretty much... I'm looking at this. Yeah, if you win by 0 even, that puts you at plus 15. If Zach wins by 6, that puts him at plus 13. So you're good. So even if Zach wins, if those other things happen, Brendan, Jay, Bosch all lose, you can potentially break into the top 4 because your plus minus is pretty good. So yeah, that's it. That's all the stuff that I pointed out. That's all the stuff that stood out to me. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only possibilities. There are probably things that I didn't see or that I overlooked, and there's maybe some things that I mentioned that aren't possible. If that's the case, my bad. But I think they're all possible. I kind of looked over this stuff and double-checked, and as I was writing, I was like, oh, this is possible, and I was like, oh, wait, this is possible too. Oh, wait, this isn't. Yeah, it's just fun. It's a lot of possibilities this week, so that's why it's fun. That's why I like this week better than any other week. Week 1 is fun because it's like the thrill of a new season, and it's like you have a new team and everyone's 0-0, and it's January and we just kicked off. We just came off the party. We had a good time. Week 1 is cool, but week 12 is the freaking best week of the season. There's nothing like it. So yeah, that's all. So that's what I wanted to do for my Voices segment. I think 16 minutes. Goodness. Yeah, that's all. So I'll see you guys in chat. Peace.